Welcome to Hear Us Out
Hello.
with Lulis and Kes.
And Cassie.
This is our first ever podcast.
Yay.
And we're excited, honestly.
And nervous.
And nervous.
Excited and nervous.
It's honestly like something totally new. Like even before, like when we started like setting everything up, I was like fumbling over with the earphones and everything. So bear with us. It's going to hopefully get better and better.
And we want to make a disclaimer because when I get nervous, I speak Spanish a lot. And I mean, as we continue, you'll realize that this is going to become a Spanglish
Yes.
kind of session. So, yes.
So we're going to talk both. But basically, our podcast is called Hear Me Out, which is probably the best thing that could describe our relationship. And, you know, that's pretty much kind of the way that we want our podcast to kind of be with our viewers and our listeners. And you want to elaborate on that?
Yes, I think we were running into so many options to call our podcast, right? We were saying things like meet me halfway, because I feel like a lot of the times we are trying to meet each other halfway.
Yeah.
Midway. I think at some point we were actually throwing things like middle ground. But
Yeah,
we
yeah.
realized that someone had already, it was a very common.
It was common.
Yeah, it was a very common name. So one day, we were thinking, what should we do it? How should we call it? And it came about, hear me out,
Yeah.
hear me out.
Just hear me out.
And I think also because in our relationship at this time, we can actually say that to each other.
Yeah.
Hey, like, just hear me out. I think recently we had a situation where we're like, just hear me out. I don't need anything else. Just hear me out. But yes, that's
And
why.
honestly, like on our end, it's, we are obviously, coworkers, but we're also, friends. And so over time, our relationship has definitely grown and it's evolved. But like there was a time where we were more different than we were similar.
Yes.
And it almost seemed like, how are these two people going to come to a middle ground or
Yes.
common ground? And because we over time managed to really be able to appreciate each other's differences, each other's different experiences, we're like, that makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
that if we're going to discuss on different, things that are important to us or just things that are happening in the world, it's important to be able to see the other person's point of view, even if you don't agree,
Right.
but still be able to hear them out and hopefully come to a place where we can both find that understanding.
And may I add that I think, obviously, this is a dialogue right now.
Right.
But we also want to convey to our audience that we want to encourage you to find someone that can hear you out.
Yeah.
We want to. A lot of probably, at least for now, a lot of the people that are gonna be our audience are going to be people that know us,
Mm-hmm.
and we also want to let them know that we can hear you out. We are here. If these two people came together and realized, and managed to hear each other out. Yeah, I think we can do that for our listeners. Especially now that we're beginning, and that most of the people are probably going to be people that love us and support us.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. So yes, we want to convey that not only have we managed to listen to each other, but we can also manage to listen to other
Right.
people. So yes.
So today's podcast is about a little bit about us. It's our introduction for you guys pretty much to get to know us and hopefully reveal a little bit of our personalities. So I'll start off the questions.
Oh, okay.
So I'll be your interviewer. So Lula, tell us a little bit about yourself, your full name, your age, and where you work at for now.
All right. So my name is Marilu Carrillo Garcia Sanchez. No, just kidding. just Carrillo. I'm 28 years old. I know you didn't ask me that, but I don't know. I just thought of saying it. I currently work as the secretary of Revive Community Church. Yay! Representing. and I really enjoy my work. I really love it. Um, I also have another job. I have another part time. I work for Kids and Families Together, and what I do there is I train foster parents on how to be foster parents, pretty much. I mean, uh, that's what they call it, but if I'm really being honest, I just sit there and I give them a lesson about trauma. I teach them about many difficult situations that these kids go through, kids in the system. We talked about, I mean, not that I want to get very
too deep,
dark and deep, but we talk about sexual abuse, we talk about trauma, we talk about attachment and attachment theory. And so I really enjoy that my second job as well.
Definitely challenged on a daily basis with both of your jobs. So for sure.
But I would say this. I think they're definitely both very challenging, but I don't think there's ever been a time, at least for my work as a secretary, I don't think there's ever been a time where I don't want to go.
Right.
I don't want to go. Every time I'm not going to say excited to come to work. Yeah. I don't think that
we all have those days. Yeah.
But there hasn't ever been a day where I was like, today I really don't want to go. Right. There hasn't been a day, and I've been at Revive Community Church for for 2 years now. And no, 3.
This year.
3 this year. Yes, 3 this year. So to me, that's a plus. To me, that's a plus of finding out that I really enjoy it, that I love what I do. And it really doesn't feel like a job after a while. If sometimes it feels like I'm because I'm doing because I started liking what I'm doing. Now it doesn't feel like a job. Right. That doesn't mean no. But my second job, definitely, I have days where I've been like, man, today I really don't want to teach. Especially, for example, my last class, which is about sexual abuse. That one takes a toll on me a lot of the times. And there's been times where I'm like, today I really don't want to teach. I really don't want to. So it only makes me appreciate my work at Revive Community Church even more.
Yeah.
Yes. So back to you, Kezia.
Back to me.
Your name.
My name is Kezia Valenzuela Jimenez, and that is actually my legal name. On the marriage license. Haven't changed it yet.
This woman has been married for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Almost 2 years. And
I keep putting it off, guys. It's not my fault. We've traveled, and each time to renew the passport, it just takes forever. But that is my legal name, married name. That's why I introduced myself that way. Yes. I am 26 years old, going on 27 in October, and I also work at Revive Community Church. I pretty much am the church admin, and I do all of the finances with, a little bit of add-on, responsibilities.
Oh, yeah.
And same thing. I've been there for 7 years, and I agree with you. If I didn't love my job, I would not have lasted that long. Definitely, I have grown as a person in my job. I started when I turned 20, and I was single when I started working at Revive, and I started dating Joel. I got married. We went through a pandemic. I mean, literally, I've been there through a lot of my growing pains, mm-hmm. and I love it. I definitely love my job, and like Lula said, yes, at times, it can have its moments, just like any job.
Yeah.
But even then, nothing compares to the fact that, like, I work, like, part of my job is to serve or to
right.
do things for the community, or to be able to go to church, be able to be a part of my church community. And so that is something that I don't think I've ever had with another mm-hmm. job. And I mean, obviously, Revive has actually been the majority of my work experience. Mm. Aside from that, I've only worked in retail, and that's about it. So, it's created a pretty high standard for me. So that's a little bit about my experience at Revive. I don't have a second job. I'm just a little old wife right now, and so
she's living life. Actually, she's living the life.
And I'm excited to do this. This is something that I have been looking forward to. Definitely been excited and nervous about, but I feel like this is going to be also part of the things that I can say about what I'm doing in my life, and
yeah, another way of sharing.
Yeah.
I mean, not that our lives are
super interesting. Like, wow.
Everyone needs to know,
Yeah.
but I think we can reach out to people
Yeah.
through this. Definitely.
Next question.
Next question.
Okay, I do have a question for you. Obviously, we say the usual things when we introduce ourselves, you know, and like what's something that nobody knows about you, but we always kind of go like, oh, I've never ridden a bike or something. What could you say is something that is often probably like a misconception about you? Maybe someone that probably meets you for the first time would immediately go to this, but it's really not who you are, or maybe something that you feel doesn't come off right away about your personality. Would you want to share?
Wow.
Question already.
You know what? I'm not sure right now.
Yeah.
I think right now I would have to think about it a lot more. But when I was in college and university, I used to get that I was unapproachable a lot. And mind you, I don't think it was really a misconception. I think I really was trying to portray myself as an unapproachable person. I was that type of student that would go in, sit at the front of the class, and not talk to anyone. And I was there meaning business. I wasn't there to make friends.
Right.
I was just there to get my grade and move on.
I'm the one behind you, like, can I borrow a pencil? No. You should have been prepared.
No, and actually one time it happened to me where in university, a girl approached me and she's like, hey, what does so-and-so teacher left for homework? And I'm like, oh, well, for our class, he gave us this. And she said, oh, well, yeah, that's also my class. And I'm looking at her like, really? And she says, yeah, it's just I sit in the back and you sit all the way in the front. And then even then I felt it. I felt like, man, like, am I really that obnoxious? Am I really that like,
you didn't realize?
Yeah. But still, I the way I gave logic to it was, well, I'm not here to make friends. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to get my grade and move on, and carry on. So I think unapproachable was a really, really good one. Like, I remember people would say, like, sometimes when I would dare to make friends, people would say to me, oh my God, I never thought you were this.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I'm funny, but people would say, I didn't think you were this free or this friendly. And I really thought you were obnoxious, stuck up, and unapproachable. And so, yeah, I think right now, I think, okay, maybe what possibly the people could think, because they see me on Sundays, during church, I think that maybe they think that I'm very friendly and very
social.
Very social.
All the time.
Very social and friendly. Now, I'm not saying that I'm unfriendly. I'm not saying that's the misconception, but I'm an introvert.
Yes.
Despite what many people might not, might have a different opinion. I'm an introvert. And so my go-to, my normal habitat is to stay quiet, to be, in my zone, to be by myself a lot of the times. And so on Sundays, I really bring out my extrovert. I really push it, And so I feel like a lot of people might think, oh my God, she's always smiling. She's always, well, again, that's what I think people think. Who knows? Maybe there's someone that's like, no, that's not what I think.
Para nada.
Para nada. And the other day, me hizo una cara fea. Okay. Well, yeah, maybe there's some people that will disagree. But I think what it is that one time I was really, I let my guard down, and I wasn't an extrovert. And so I really went for my introvert side. And I started noticing that the ushers were asking me, "Hermana, ¿está bien? Hermana, ¿todo bien?" Y yo, "Sí." And so that's when I noticed, oh, okay. So they really do think there's something wrong with me, right? Because I try really hard every Sunday to show otherwise, right? To bring out my extrovert. So I think that could be a misconception that I'm an extrovert, but in reality I'm an introvert. And
you have your what is it called? The social, like, kind of like a ticking clock. Like, you can get drained at a certain point.
Oh yeah.
And people don't realize that. I don't know if you've ever seen memes like that where it's like, you're like, I'm just out.
Yes. And and so I think I wouldn't be surprised if people that are listening are kind of like, oh, I didn't know she was an introvert. Or they're probably thinking, I don't know. Write in the comments.
Whatever you guys think.
Whatever you guys think. So I think that's a misconception right now.
Right.
What about you?
I think for me, it's the reverse. I think I get a lot that I'm very bubbly and I'm very, cheery and all of that. And I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. But, for example, my family is Yucatecas, and so we're very much like, you hear that pitch all the time. And so I am an extrovert. And so I am very like, hi, how are you? And social and all of that. But I think with that personality, sometimes it comes off very, I think sometimes naive and a little bit, just very like, okay, so the best way I can explain it is because a lot of times I've had people like, oh, you're so sweet, you're so nice, like almost shocked when I've said, something probably a little bit, not harsh or mean, but just kind of like it was an opposing opinion, and oh, you said that, and so it's a good thing, I guess, to have people think that I'm very sweet and very nice, but I think that, I also have my opinions that, I also have my days where I'm not, smiling all the time and I'm not jumping all the time, I'm talking like this, and I think that sometimes freaks people out, because they do think that I am very just bubbly and I'm not. And so I would say that that's probably one of the biggest things. And probably that I can be a little bit ditzy, and I know I can, I can be a little bit of an airhead, but in some things I am a little smart.
Bible.
Like it just, just some things, like I don't, you definitely use jargon. I don't use jargon. And so I know that for a lot of people, they might be like, oh, ya no sabe mucho, and then on some things it's like, oh, okay, sí, como que sí sabe, and so I think that those are two misconceptions, like bubbly and a little ditzy, and I would say that. Your turn.
Well, I actually was thinking of something, and because I get it sometimes that I'm a feminist.
Yes. Yes.
And I can see why. I don't blame
What
people.
is your nickname? People.
I don't blame people for thinking that I'm what they call it, an empowered woman, or rather,
right.
a feminist. I don't blame it. I do think I carry myself with that air of I'm strong, I can do it. I think that all goes back to how I was raised. I was raised in a single parent home by my mother. And so she had to be that, she had to be that strong woman. She had to be that provider. And for a lot of hard situations in my life, my mom was very much like, you need to get up. Get up and move on. Échate. In Español, we have a saying, échate polvo y
just move on.
Y move on, y levántate, And so I think I do that a lot. It comes out naturally, where I have to catch myself, where I have to be like, okay, that's not very ladylike, and So I think I wouldn't say that's a, well, yes, that is a misconception, because I don't believe in feminism. I don't believe in, not to get political or anything, but I don't, that's not what I relate to, you know. Oh, where I lost my thought. Oh, yes. So I don't believe in what they believe.
Yeah.
I don't, you know, I don't carry myself with this air of I'm better than man or anything like that. But I do think it's very hard for me to come off as dainty and as polite and poised, and, you know, all these very ladylike qualities. Mm-hmm. I'm trying, though. I'm really trying. And I remember kids used to, because, you know, during the pandemic we used to do services outside, and kids used to tell me, let the men carry the chairs. Yeah. Let the men, you know.
Which is, you know, I'd like to give a disclaimer, because I know that, you know, we're going to have girls who are going to, you know, be able to identify on both sides of the spectrums of as far as what they believe for feminism for themselves. It's not necessarily that I don't believe that you could have carried, you know, the tables or anything, or the chairs or the 10 chairs. I think what, you know, it is for me, I noticed that at that time you were carrying this, not chip on your shoulder, but just kind of like, I don't need anyone. I don't need anyone's help. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, and that really came from men and women, you know. Mm-hmm. I don't need anybody to help me. And I actually think there is a lot of power in asking for help, right. You know, and I think that nowadays it's starting to come off kind of bad if a woman asks for a man for help, because it's like, you can do it yourself. Right. And it's like, yes, you can, you know, you can do a lot of things for yourself, but I don't think there's anything wrong with asking for help. Right. No, and definitely. So I'd like to give that disclaimer.
No, and honestly, I now I get it, right? Now I understand. That's something we had to work through, right? Because
in our hear me out sessions.
Yeah, because I'm not very good at asking for help. Definitely, you know. Although Brother Tony might think otherwise, but I'm not very good at asking for help. I you know, obviously trauma, but I started realizing, yes, you're right. There is power in asking for help, you know, and there is humility. Yeah. I would say there is humility in asking for help, and God had to humble me many times with you, with other people. I mean, I think a lot of the times, you know, pastor used to give us
like Bible studies,
and one time he said, you need to delegate. You know, that's how you know you're really working, when you start delegating. And so that really stuck with me. Like, okay, I need to delegate. Yeah, there are things I can ask for help.
You don't have to do it all.
I don't have to do it all on my own. And even with you, it was very much like, I'm not going to ask her. And then a task that should have taken me 30 minutes tops, it would take me 2 hours. And now it's like, obviously I started seeing
is everything okay?
Yes. Is the Excel sheet saved? I'm trying to figure it out now. And so obviously, once I started measuring how much time I was losing because of pride, really, you know, because of, yes, I would agree. It was a chip on my shoulder of like, I don't need it. I don't need no one. I can figure it out on my own. And so I had to learn. I had to unlearn.
Yeah.
Unlearn that. Because I feel like I brought a lot of that from college, from university, those thoughts of like, I'm on my own, I can do it by myself. And so I had to unlearn that. And now I had to learn how to depend on people and how to trust people. And I'm still working on it. I you know, again, shout out to Brother Tony, because he might disagree. But I feel like I'm more comfortable asking for help. I feel like I'm more comfortable saying with, hey, I don't get it. Help me out. Help a brother out. But yeah, definitely that would be another misconception, that I'm a feminist. I'm not a feminist. I mean, despite what everyone would like to believe, I'm not a feminist. I want to say that my code of conduct comes from my faith and comes from the way I was raised. Yeah. But no, I don't. I like Frida Kahlo, yes, but yeah, that doesn't.
I don't identify with her beliefs.
I don't identify with her beliefs.
You know, It's sorry to interrupt. It's interesting as you were, kind of talking about how you learned how to ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, working with you, it helped me do the opposite. Because I grew up in a different home. I grew up with both. Oh man, I keep hitting this thing. I grew up with both of my parents, and I grew up in a Christian home, in a very even sheltered environment in many ways. And with that, I did grow up with a mom and dad that was like, ¿Qué pasó, mija? ¿Y qué necesitas? Y yo te ayudo. And, what do you need? And, I'll take you to school, or I'll, make your lunch, and all of those things. And so the more that I've grown, and especially after I got married, I learned how to depend more on myself. And I think that was a good thing. I think it was time for me to mature into being an adult and being a woman, and being able to recognize that I can do what I need to do, and before getting married, I remember being very anxious and worried,
Right.
Am I going to be able to do this on my own? And am I going to be able to be a wife and handle a household and, all that comes with that?
Mm-hmm.
And then the pandemic hit, and it was like, you're really on your own. And yeah, like our experiences obviously shape how we are at the beginning, but it's our choices on what we do after.
Right. Oh, yes.
And, right now I have on my screensaver a quote that says, is it change is inevitable, but growth is optional.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the truth. You're always going to continue going through experiences, but it's up to you how you choose to respond.
Oh, yeah.
So, as much as, I may have shown that for you, you show that for me. And so,
and that's how we
work.
Yeah, we've been morphing into each other.
And that's where we get to our middle ground in a way,
yeah.
And so before we close off, we're going to ask one last question. You can think of, something while I think of mine, maybe something silly.
Like a would you rather question?
Oh, for sure.
Let's go. Okay.
All right. Would you rather?
You're really good at those, though.
I love would you rather.
Don't tell Pastor that, though. Don't tell Pastor that we joke during office hours.
No, we never talk.
But she's really good at those. Like there's been, maybe because I'm an overthinker.
You really think of all the possibilities.
I put logic into it, and so for me, sometimes I have a mental breakdown. Like, man, that's a hard one. But but for kids, it's the opposite. For kids, like, oh well, a gusano, or something like that. But okay, let's think of one.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Would you rather be invited? No, not be invited. This is your first dinner that you're hosting as a married, woman. Mm-hmm. You invited friends, family, people closest to you, and you've slaved away, working to feed all of these people. And you didn't realize that the meat was uncooked.
Oh.
And as everyone's eating and it seems like everyone's having a good time, a little bridesmaid incident happens. Have you seen the movie Bridesmaid?
I have seen the movie.
Look away. It's coming out of me like lava. And you have your husband's family run upstairs to the nearest restroom. You have friends running to the patio. You have everyone trying to find a location, and it was all due to the meat that you made.
Jesus.
Or be at someone else's first dinner, be the only one that was food poisoned, and you have nowhere else to go but to go where you're sitting, because it just hits you and you're just like, it's happening. I'm having an accident here. Would you rather be the cause of someone else's misfortune? Now, being the cause means everyone in the house wasn't food poisoned. Mm-hmm. Or would you rather be the one that is humiliated from the result of being food poisoned?
You see, this is my problem. This is a problem. This is very beautifully elaborated, and all I can think of is, would you rather be a moth or a fly? Like, what is going on? Now I have to think of a more elaborative.
No, you're fine.
Question,
I already know the answer.
But okay. Jesus, I think I'd rather be humiliated.
You'd rather be humiliated.
I'd rather be humiliated. I feel like
really?
maybe I can gain some sympathy from people, like, oh man, she really pooped, like, but I feel like I don't think I would be able to handle knowing that I got everyone sick, like, right. Especially my husband's family, like, I feel like that would, yes,
I'm a part of that.
And then after that, think about it, after that it would be like, they don't trust my cooking. They're not going to trust my cooking. Oh, you can say
goodbye to Memorial Day picnic.
Exactly. I'm not going to be invited to the Dorcas things ever again. Versus if I'm the one humiliated, I can dare to eat that person's food again, or I can choose to say, oh, I'm vegan.
That's why.
Yeah, that's why I can't eat your meatloaf or whatever. I think I'd rather be humiliated. Yeah, I'll take one for the team. Right. Good. So now I'm going to ask you a more interesting question than my moth or fly.
Rather be a grizzly bear or a tiger?
No. Okay. Would you? And you made this question a couple, so I want to know your answer. Would you rather? It's gonna get gross though. Well,
I already opened the door.
You already opened the door. Would you rather?
Is it the homeless question?
No. Would you? Well, yeah. Actually, okay. Let's go there.
Lula always asks this question.
What would you do if a homeless? You've been to TJ, right?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. What would you do if you have your window down?
I'm eating my tacos.
You're eating your tacos, your raspa, whatever you want to eat. You're really enjoying it. You're on your way. It's hot. That's why you have your window down, because not even the AC works. And a homeless goes in there and puts his whole fingers inside your mouth as you were trying to take a bite of your tacos. What would you do?
Oh, just what would you do?
This homeless, keep in mind.
There's no would you rather. Other option. Okay.
Or should I turn it? Would you rather? All right. Would you rather a homeless do that to you? Keep in mind, this homeless smells like urine of months.
We don't hate people. It's just
no. God bless people. But this person has, he's crusty.
Right.
He's been on the streets for a while,
And now it's
And now it's in your mouth, okay. Right? Would you rather that, or would you rather?
1,000 times the hand, of course. Okay, first of all, I think it's hilarious how Lula always brings up this question. Whenever we're doing this game with other people, like, would you rather, she always comes up with this question. And, like, honestly, like, there's no answer, like, what would you do? Like, you would just sit there and just be mortified. I mean, and quita de que sea un homeless, like, anyone for that matter. The cleanest person sticking their hand in your mouth is already just gross as it is. So yeah, honestly.
I think what it is that we go to TJ very often, and Kelly and I, we were wondering that after seeing a homeless guy, we're like thinking, like, did you take a look at this person's hands, like, right. What would happen? Like, what would you do? And Kelly was very prompt to say, I would kill myself. Just like, I cannot live after that. Obviously she's joking, of course. But what we're trying to say is, like, it's just
to live with that would definitely be very humiliating. And it would be a story. It would definitely be a story. So, that pretty much does it for our first episode. I hope you guys learned a little bit about us and our humor. And we will see you guys for the next one.
Yes, thank you for joining us for Hear Me Out, our first episode. God bless.
I didn't think we should pray after this.
Definitely not.